Welcome back to Keeping It Real with Marilyn and Steve. So today we are going to be talking about freeze drying applesauce and how you can use it after it's freeze dried. So it's fall and it's apple season, and at this time of year we have some local areas where we can pick up apples. So we have them for our apple pies, for fresh applesauce, for canning applesauce, just for eating. But we have plenty of applesauce on the pantry shelves. So what we're going to do with the last two batches that I made is we're going to put those into the freeze dryer. So we've had our freeze dryer for a couple of years, and we have found that freeze drying allows us more options on what we can do for preserving our food. So today we're going to get this applesauce onto these trays and into the freeze dryer. Now it's going to take about 24 to 48 hours for it to finish freeze drying, but we want to get this on the trays, so let me get that started. So I'm putting the applesauce straight onto the tray. I'm not using a silicone mat. I have done this in the past and it comes up fine. One thing you do have to remember is try to get the applesauce spread evenly. You don't want it to be higher than the side of the trays because it does have sugar in it. It does expand a bit in the freeze dryer, but this is going to allow me to have this for a variety of different uses. So let me get all these trays done and I'll be right back. So I ended up being able to fill all 5 trays. I did have another half a batch in the fridge. When I fill the trays, I make sure that the applesauce is cold. You don't really want to be putting hot foods in your freeze dryer. Some people even will take these trays and put them in their freezer so that they pre-freeze them before they put them in the freeze dryer, which isn't necessary, but it is something that you can do. Now we will get these stacked up. If you're interested in the recipe that we use for making our applesauce, I'll make sure that it's a suggested video at the end. You can also go to our webpage, keepingitreal.com, where we have all of our recipes, and any recipes that have a video associated with them, the video is right in the recipe as well. So now that I've got these stacked up, let's go get them in the freeze dryer. So I'm gonna put the trays in the freeze dryer, and I've had that pre-cooling so it's ready. And once I get these in and get the freeze dryer turned on, it's going to take somewhere 24 to 48 hours for these to finish. And then when they're finished, I'll be back. So we have these out of the freeze dryer and they are very hard. You can kind of hear it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a corner of this up out of the freeze dryer tray so I can show you what it looks like. So here's a piece out of the corner of the freeze dryer tray, and it looks kind of like a rice cake if you look at it from the side, but the smell is still awesome applesauce. There's no loss of that. The reason that we do this is it allows us to store it longer, and we do have quite a few uses that we can do with this. So let me get the rest of these out of the tray, and then we'll do a couple little tests with it and show you how it works. Now that we have this all out of the trays, you can kind of see how much we have here. We have 3 ways that we enjoy using this personally. I'm sure you could come up with some more. But for us, we like to either rehydrate it into just applesauce to use. We may take and add it in with oatmeal, so we can have our apple cinnamon oatmeal, or even just eating a piece of this as it is, as a snack. It's nice and crunchy. It's a good alternative. Instead of eating chips or something, you can have some of this. If you've made it yourself, you know exactly what's in it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is you can store this in a jar. You can store it in a Mylar bag. It depends what it is that you want to do with your storage. This is going to last easily 15 years or more if stored correctly. You want to remember Keep it cool, keep it dry, because as with anything else that is freeze-dried, it's looking for moisture. So I'm going to take this bigger piece and I'm going to break some off, and you can hear it snap. What I'm going to do is just break this up into a little bit smaller pieces into a bowl, and then I'm going to add some boiling water to it. And this may get a little messy because I'm pouring out of a teacup. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir that in, and you can see it's immediately rehydrating into an applesauce. Now if I accidentally put a little much water in, I can add another piece and it's going to just dissolve. Look at that, dissolve right back into a fresh applesauce. So now that we have our applesauce reconstituted, I'm going to give it a taste. Tastes just as awesome as the day that I made it. So keep in mind, just for a little more information, anytime that you are preserving, no matter what method you're using to preserve your fruits or vegetables, using the freshest possible is going to give you the longest shelf life and the best flavor. The difference between growing it yourself, buying at a farmer's market, or buying at a store where you don't necessarily know how long it's been there, how long it was in storage, or how it was grown, the freshest is going to give you the longest shelf life. Also, another thing to remember is whether you're doing it in a jar or doing it in a Mylar bag, if you are using a vacuum sealer, if you're using oxygen absorbers, do your research so that you know whatever method you're using is going to give you the best results and how to store each item correctly. So if you have any questions, if you have any recipes for using applesauce, any special things you like to do with freeze-dried applesauce, make sure you leave that in the comment below. If you enjoyed our video, give us a like, and remember, sharing our videos with friends of yours on social media that you think might enjoy our videos is a great way to help us and help our channel. So until next time, everybody, take care.